Let's take a trip back in time to the 1990s. And if you're a fan of Suzuki sport bikes, it's not exactly your happiest time period. Today's bike of the day is a 2001 Suzuki Gixxer 1000, and it is really important in Suzuki's history because it brought them back to relevancy after a few years of kind of being out of the limelight. Back in 1986, Suzuki introduces the Gixxer 1100, which everyone goes nuts over. We sell a lot of them here at Iconic. People are absolutely very fond of them. But as the 90s progress, that Gixxer 1100 starts fading into obscurity because Honda comes out with the 900 Fireblade, Ducati comes out with the 916, and then Yamaha comes out in 1998 with the R1. And so as the 90s turn into the 2000s, Yamaha is on top of the sport bike game and everyone else is struggling to catch up. Suzuki was arguably the first one to do that, and maybe not just catch up, but also surpass Yamaha with this bike. So this is an impressive motorcycle in its own right, but this specific example I love for a couple of reasons. First, this is one of the cleanest Gixxer 1000s that we've seen here at Iconic. We actually had this up on our auction site, and I'm pretty proud of this part. So we had it up on the auction site. It's sold in Massachusetts to a buyer in New York for about $15,000 on the auction site. Then the buyer really believes in Iconic and what we do here. He actually had the bike shipped straight from the seller in Massachusetts, had it shipped here so that we could work on it and get it ready for him as a rider before we send it back to him in New York. So when we sold this bike, it had about 2,845 miles on it. And like I said, it's really clean. When we sold it, it was 100% stock. And it also comes with an NOS seat cowl here for that full aesthetic. But I mean, the full rear fender is there, or sorry, the tail tidy, that's all there, the license plate mount. You have the stock turn signals. When we sold it, it had the stock exhaust. The seller, or I should say the current owner, as part of the work he requested to do, was to have us source a Yoshimura exhaust for it as well, which sounds pretty good. And we'll show you what that sounds like as we take this for a quick test ride. He also had us put new tires, do a full fluid flush, that kind of thing. Again, so that he can enjoy this bike as it was meant to be ridden on the roads. So we're excited about that. Well, let's fire this thing up real quick so you can hear it, and then I'll take it for a quick spin. So 2,846 miles on it right now. Fires right up. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna gear up and let's take it for a spin. All right, test ride is done. This bike has passed. It is ready for its new owner back in New York. So it'll be sad, but this thing has to make room for the next cool bike that's coming through. After taking it around for about a 10-mile test ride though or so, a couple thoughts just came to mind I figured worth sharing. One, this thing still pulls like a modern bike. I mean, at the crank, it's making 160 horsepower, which is more than enough to have plenty of fun with. I started the video by saying, let's go back in time, kind of time travel thing. This really makes you feel like it. It's been a while since I've been on a 90s, 2000 sport bike. And every time I get on one, I kind of forget how wide the tank is, how much you get splayed out in the hips and the knees. But that riding position is surprisingly comfortable otherwise. I mean, you could really kind of sport tour on this thing nowadays because the ergonomics are good. The tank's the only weird thing to me, but hip to peg isn't even that bad. And this seat, this gel seat, I can't believe this is a stock sport bike seat from a company. It's incredibly comfortable. I could spend all day on this thing and have a blast. So this is what it's all about for us here at Iconic Motorbikes, taking fantastic motorcycles like this one, especially after they've been sitting for a little while, and then giving them another clean bill of health so they can go back and hit the road. I'm really excited for the new owner. I think he's really going to enjoy this bike. It sounds great with that Yosh pipe, but it's not too loud. Again, it would just help. If you really want to spend miles on this bike, you could because of the comfort, and that sound isn't oppressive. So I think great choice by him to pick this up. We look forward to getting it to him, and we look forward to helping you with your next Iconic motorbike. Thanks.